The 20th century began with light, soft, white, silent light that needed no flame. When the switch was flicked, darkness fled. And for the Edwardians, it felt like triumph. A new king, a new age, a new faith in invention. In every shop window, the miracles of science gleamed: electric lamps, mechanical servants, powders to purify the skin, tonics that glowed in the dark. Progress had come home. But no one asked what hid behind that progress. Bare wires, burning gas, poisoned creams, a century built on faith and ignorance. This is how the modern house was born, and how it nearly destroyed the people who lived inside it. The age of electric promise. When Queen Victoria died in 1901, her son, Edward VII, inherited more than a throne. He inherited a nation desperate for change. For decades, Victorian respectability had smothered curiosity. Now, ideas flooded the air like static. Invention became religion, and the altar stood inside the home. Electricity was the holy flame of the new world, invisible, clean, almost divine. It could replace the hiss and stink of gas. It could banish soot and shadow. But to early users, it was less a technology than a mystery. Cables ran naked across walls, their copper veins pulsing inches from fingertips. Paper, cloth, even wood were used as insulation. They didn't repel current, they fed it. A single spark could leap from ceiling rose to curtain, from wire to joist, and turn a drawing room into an inferno. Yet newspapers called it a miracle without fault. No one spoke of voltage. No one mentioned death. To be electrocuted was an accident of progress, proof that one had lived close to the future. The overload. In most houses, one circuit ruled them all: the lighting. But invention breeds hunger. Soon every family wanted irons, kettles, and heaters. So they improvised. From a single ceiling socket hung forests of brass adapters. Christmas tree fittings, engineers called them later. Each branch fed another appliance. Each cord stole more power. The result was inevitable. Copper heated until it glowed. Insulation smoldered. Wood darkened, and flames raced unseen behind wallpaper. There were no fuses, no breakers, no mercy. A fire could start while a family slept and be halfway through the roof before the first scream. Worse, the country ran on chaos. Every city used a different voltage. Every supplier a different current. A lamp from Manchester might explode in London. An iron from Bristol could melt in Liverpool. Electricity was progress without law, and law always comes after the corpses. The cure that killed science promised not only light, but health. The same mysterious force that powered lamps could, they said, power the body. Shops sold electro-vital corsets, facial stimulators, and belts that claimed to restore vigor. Posters showed smiling women under halos of sparks. Behind the smiles lay graves. These devices plugged straight into the mains. No limiters, no transformers. One surge, one miswired socket, and a jolt that stopped the heart. Doctors warned that uncontrolled current disturbed the pulse itself, making the heart convulse instead of beat. But the advertisements kept printing. The public kept buying, and the morgues kept filling quietly. The age of electricity had found its first true addiction. The miracle mineral fire was still the old enemy, and the new century claimed to have conquered it. The weapon was asbestos, soft, white, eternal. It lined stoves, wrapped boilers, padded irons, and hung in curtains. It was woven into gloves and blankets, mixed into plaster, hidden behind every new appliance. It never burned, never melted, and never forgave. Workers described walking through snow. That snow was made of needles too small to see. Each breath drew thousands into the lungs, where they stayed forever. Inspector Lucy Dean warned Parliament in 1898, Asbestos dust was injurious to health. Her words gathered dust like the fibers themselves. Decades later, doctors cut open the chests of dead factory hands and found lungs turned to stone. The disease earned a name, asbestosis, and a slower, deadlier companion, mesothelioma. No cure, no escape. And while men died in factories, their wives inhaled death from the washing line, shaking the dust from work clothes. The miracle of asbestos was that it never aged, never decayed. It simply waited, cold comfort. In the Edwardian kitchen, the future had a heartbeat. Slow, mechanical, chilling. The refrigerator. For centuries, families relied on cellars and ice houses. Now, engineers promised a box that made its own frost. It was a symbol of modern wealth, and like most symbols, it came with a hidden price. Early fridges were monsters, cast-iron cabinets driven by hand-pumped compressors. They used gases that could both poison and explode. Ammonia, sulfur dioxide, methyl chloride, ether. A tiny leak could fill a kitchen with invisible death. A spark from a light switch could set the air ablaze. In 1910, a repairman in London collapsed beside one such unit. The coroner called it an unfortunate incident of progress, but the papers stayed quiet. No one wanted to frighten customers. By the time sealed systems and safer chemicals arrived, hundreds were already dead or scarred by the unseen frost of their own ambition. Before we move deeper into this house of inventions, stop for a moment and look around your own. Every socket, every switch, every silent machine, all descend from this same age of faith in the invisible. If you're watching this, you live among the legacy of their mistakes. So when you see a promise of new, ask a question the Edwardians never did. Is it safe or just shiny? Curiosity built their miracles. Skepticism might save ours. The poisoned mirror. While men filled their rooms with wires, women filled their dressing tables with chemistry. The Edwardian woman was told she must be pure, pale, and polished. Beauty that appeared effortless, no matter the cost. Face creams bleached with ammonia and camphor. Lotions promised to lift freckles and refine pores. Some contained mercury to brighten the skin. Others used arsenic for radiance. Advertisements even sold arsenic wafers, perfectly safe for the complexion. Powders glowed white with lead carbonate. Belladonna drops widened the pupils to a seductive haze, but blurred vision and triggered arrhythmia. Hair demanded equal torture. Women heated metal tongs in open flames, curling until the scent of burning hair filled the room. Then came the permanent wave: asbestos rods, alkaline paste, 6 hours of steam. The inventor burned his wife's scalp twice, perfecting it. Still, it became a sensation. Even hats turned dangerous. A fashionable brim could reach 2 feet across, held by hat pins 14 inches long. They pierced hair, fabric, and sometimes skin. Bus conductors banned them, police confiscated them, yet society adored them. Vanity was no longer sin, it was science, and science had a cruel sense of humor. The glow that consumed in 1898, Marie Curie found a light that never went out. Radium, luminous, eternal, and deadly. To the Edwardians, it was bottled starlight. Doctors used it to burn away tumors. Entrepreneurs used it to sell hope. Radium toothpaste for brighter smiles. Radium tonics for vitality. Radium underwear to restore male energy. Even chocolate bars and spa waters glowed faintly in the dark. The public called it the element of life. No one suspected it was feeding on theirs. Most infamous of all were the luminous clocks. Young women painted the numbers, sharpening their brushes with their tongues. Each stroke placed a grain of radium on their lips, and within months, their jaws began to crumble. Their bones glowed beneath the skin. Managers wore lead aprons. Workers wore smiles. When sickness spread, the companies blamed loose morals. By the 1920s, the truth broke through like radiation through flesh. The radium girls died slowly, their bones eaten from the inside out. Their lawsuits forced the first real laws of industrial safety. The glow that promised life had revealed the price of ignorance. Order from chaos. By 1913, 1 million British homes were electrified. With that success came reckoning. Engineers drafted wiring codes. Fuse boxes appeared on kitchen walls. Earthing became mandatory. Standards replaced guesswork. The patchwork current of 100 suppliers merged into the first national grid. But safety was born of pain. Every code written in a victim's name. Every law written after a funeral. The Edwardians had raced into the future faster than any society before them. They believed technology could perfect life. It nearly ended it. The price of modernity. Look around a modern home. The socket, the bulb, the fridge humming in the dark. Each carries the ghost of an Edwardian experiment. Electric light replaced flame, but introduced electrocution. Asbestos banished fire, but seeded cancer. Radium promised immortality, but dealt slow death. Yet without their errors, we would not have learned caution, regulation, testing, and the quiet assumption that what we plug in will not kill us, all born from that reckless decade. The Edwardians wanted control over nature. Instead, they discovered how easily nature takes revenge. And so every switch we flip, every safe comfort we enjoy, is an echo of that dangerous faith. The faith that progress is always good, and that the light which brightens our homes can never burn. The afterglow. The Edwardians left their homes shining, but beneath the glow, they left ghosts. Every invention became inheritance, every hazard, a lesson passed down. By the 1920s, the same currents that once burned houses now powered cities. The failures of one generation had paved the safety of the next. Yet progress never sleeps. The more the world learned to protect itself, the faster it forgot the reason why. In the decades that followed, people built new miracles on the same foundations: television, neon, plastics, nuclear energy. Each born from the same hunger for control, the same belief that the invisible could be mastered. Each promised purity, speed, comfort, and each carried, somewhere deep in its wiring, a hidden cost waiting to mature. The Edwardians didn't just create modern technology, they created the modern illusion that what is new must be good, that what is bright cannot burn, that safety is progress's natural shadow. But safety is never given. It must be built from the bones of those who were not safe enough. The second skin. A century later, the dust they called miracle still lingers in the air. In schools built before the war, ceiling panels whisper with asbestos. In factories long abandoned, fibers sleep behind cracked paint. And when the walls come down, the past breathes again. Modern workers wear masks, gloves, filters, suits. A second skin between themselves and the mistakes of history. It is protection, yes, but also confession. A silent admission that the ghosts of progress still walk beside us. For every new invention, there is a hidden mirror of the old. Plastic, once hailed as salvation for forests, now strangles oceans. Radiation, once sold as healing light, now glows in the rubble of reactors. The lesson repeats: the future always hides its poison in beauty. And yet, we keep reaching. Because comfort is stronger than caution, and light is always easier to sell then shadow. The last switch stand in your own home. Listen. The hum in the walls, the refrigerator's quiet heartbeat, the static breath of 1,000 unseen systems. It is the same music the Edwardians once heard, only softer, safer, wrapped in regulation. But the principle remains. The more the world connects itself to power, the more fragile that power becomes. Every wire, every signal, every network is another thread in the same web they began to weave. We live surrounded by the miracles they dreamed of. We also live surrounded by their warning, that no age knows its own dangers until it's too late. The Edwardian home has long turned to dust, its sparks gone cold. But the pattern survives. Curiosity without caution, innovation without patience. Each time we touch a screen, charge a battery, or chase the next discovery, we are flicking the same switch they did, trusting the light, ignoring the cost. The Edwardians believed they were building paradise. They wired their walls with light, sealed their roofs against fire, polished their faces with science, and bottled the glow of the stars. They did not know they were also building the modern myth, that progress is mercy, that invention is safety, that danger belongs to the past. But history does not burn cleanly. It smolders. The same currents that scorched their homes still hum through ours. The same desire for comfort still blinds us to cost. Every filament, every circuit, every new material is a promise and a warning. The Edwardians taught us both. They proved that technology has no morality, only momentum. That knowledge saves only those willing to remember how it once killed. So the next time light fills a room at the touch of a switch, remember the darkness it came from. Remember the hands that reached for the future and found fire, poison, and dust. Because progress never ends. It only changes voltage. The story you've heard isn't just history. It's a warning still humming in our walls. Every breakthrough hides its own hidden killer until someone looks closely enough to see it. Learn the pattern. Study the past. Question the promise before you plug it in. If this film lit a spark in you, keep it burning. Share the story, dig deeper, and never stop asking what the next miracle will cost.